It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Ottawa Arizona Spirit's head cheerleading coach, Coach Kari Kratchman. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching and college cheerleading?
Um, I just had a passion for coaching in general. So having the ability to start my coaching career with younger age athletes and then moving into coaching club athletes and high school athletes. And then at our All-Star gym, I had some athletes that wanted to be a part of their community college program, but they didn't have a coach. And so I kind of threw my hat in the ring and followed up and got the job. And that's how I got started in college coaching.
What was that experience like for you at the age of 17, getting started in coaching in high school?
Um, I had a lot of training through gymnastics, and I had a really, really great high school coach that was super organized, but she was also equally tough on us, but also knew that she was coaching us with a purpose. And so just kind of having those things already built in as an athlete made it a lot easier to take on my first coaching job with the junior high that I got to work with, which funny enough, I tried out for that team and didn't make it when I was a student there. So getting to go back as a senior high school athlete with some experience was such a blessing.
What was that experience like transitioning from coaching in the high school level to going to college and coaching on the collegiate level?
Um, a lot of it is the same, but then also a lot of it is very different. So, high school cheerleading has a lot of rules and regulations and things that are in place for mostly for safety reasons, but also to help the coaches stay organized and to, have good retention within their teams. A lot of that translates into being a college coach, but also the rules. Are very different in college and you don't have the same limitations. So you're able to do harder skills, both with stunts and pyramids, basket tosses, and tumbling.
For you, what was that experience like being a coordinator for the NFL and NBA and also the WNBA?
So, being able to work alongside the owner and director of choreography pros, we used to dance together on the Phoenix Mercury Hip Hop Squad. And Ms. V, as she is very well known, has just had this passion for her company. And so just being able to help out with, uh, event setup, check-in, registration. I'm happy to help out with the merchandise piece of it. And so that part is amazing. And then just seeing like the professional dancers and their coaches come in and be a part of the convention each and every summer is amazing. The energy is great. The routines are mind blowing. Their music selection is even more mind blowing. And it's a really good time, but it is a very hard working weekend for everybody who is there.
What was that experience like for you being a performer in the Super Bowls?
Um, I was very young at the time, so I was super excited to be able to do Super Bowl halftime show. The Super Bowl has been in Arizona quite a bit, so I got to do pregame for one Super Bowl and halftime for two other Super Bowls. And just, I think my most memorable Super Bowl is when the DCC coaches, Judy and Kelly, came and they basically were in charge of our halftime routine. And getting to learn under them at that time was definitely a blessing. And it felt like a dream. It felt like you were in a movie. Like the rehearsals are long, but when you actually get to the performance day and they are shuttling you on a bus to and from the field and the stadium, and you're just, you're alongside hundreds of dancers who went through the process. And got to make the performance group. And I mean, there really is just so many people who come out and audition, and it's just, it's an experience I wouldn't trade for the world.
For you, what was that transition like going from being a performer on the professional level to getting into college coaching?
Um, it's definitely a different transition and set of expectations. I really tapped into my pro experience um, as a college coach, and I really lean into a lot of the things that I got to learn as a professional athlete. And so I think that's what's helped me really grow and develop my teams over the years, whether I was coaching a community college program or, here at Ottawa, everything from how you look at a uniform on somebody to, what looks good on the field. So my pro experience definitely gave me like a different set of goggles as a college coach. So I feel like I have a little bit of an edge with that. And it definitely has grown and changed over the years as well.
Coming to Ottawa, Arizona, what was that experience like being a head coach for the first time on a college level?
I was really excited to get the position here. And it is coaching at Ottawa University, Arizona is phenomenal in the sense that all of the coaches are treated equally. So I have an office that sits right across from baseball and football, and I'm given the same tools to succeed that they are. And so that part's a blessing. You don't find that everywhere. Having the ability to provide scholarships for our athletes is also amazing. And we have large, substantial scholarships. It's not just like we're covering your books or like, things of that nature. So I'm filled with gratitude to have been here at Ottawa coaching over these last 6.5, almost 7 years. And the interview process was a lot. Like I think I went through 5 or 6 interviews before I was actually rewarded with the job opportunity. And so I was just super thankful that I did get the job. As I made it through each phase of the interview process, I got more and more excited to be here.
During your time, what have been some of the things you've been able to accomplish as a head coach?
Um, Well, we were able to grow the program and add another entity to a program called Stunt. So that was really exciting. That was like a 2 to 3 year process. I didn't even know what stunt the sport was when I got the job here. So just learning about it through networking and recruiting events was really great. Um, I am a competitive person, and our kids do like to compete. So finding the right categories and divisions to set our teams up to succeed was definitely something we became really good at. And, we started out, slow and steady. And before we knew it, we, won a few competitions. So we decided to, make our goal college nationals in Daytona, which is, probably one of actually the biggest college nationals there is. And, you know, getting to Daytona and being able to compete and hold your own. We are a small private Christian NAIA university. And so sometimes you get to compete against teams just like you, and other times you get put in what's called like an open, which is, just as tough. And so trying to hold your own, represent well, can be very difficult. And it took us three, 3 years, but in our third attempt in Daytona, we finally came home with the big win. So,
What has that experience been like getting to win six of the college national titles for Ottawa, Arizona?
Um, that part is just unreal for us. It's just one of those things I always tell my kids, like, you're lucky if you get it one time in your career, let alone to do it 6 times. And we are now have done it 7 times. So that's been pretty amazing. And again, it's just having that foundation within our program, in a standard where our kids have to show up every day and work every day. In addition to, not just practice, but being at games, being out in the community, doing community service events, and just putting in the work all the way around, being a student athlete on this campus.
What does a typical game day look like versus a competition game day?
Uh, Game days can be long, so our typical games start at 7, but that doesn't mean we're walking in here at 6:30 and when the game starts at 7. That means we're getting here probably right around 1 or 2 p.m. We're stretching, we're warming up, we're reviewing our routines for the game. When the field is empty, we will hit the field with a last field practice before the game starts. We'll go into the locker room, we'll have a team meal, we'll refresh, get ready, get in full uniform, and then, kickoff starts for us a good hour, hour and a half before the game. So we have like a pregame routine that we do. Um, and each game has like a different theme to it. So there might be like an alumni night, or we might have a kids clinic where the kids get to perform halftime. And so we're coordinating a lot of different moving parts.
As a head coach, what does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes that are looking to get into cheerleading?
Um, there's several ways to get recruited. So there are combines all across the country that we try to attend in person. And if we can't attend in person, then we'll attend virtually. And then we do get like a lot of emails. We do have links on our social media. So anybody who's interested in getting recruited can, check out our social media and fill out those links, and then we'll follow up with them. But we do also still have an in-person tryout process. So, for example, if we recruit somebody in September because we saw them at a combine and they did really great, we want to make sure they are just as strong of an athlete when we get to tryouts in May, that they were when we recruited them. So we do have a process in place that like holds everybody accountable and keeps them growing.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen putting on that Ottawa Arizona Spirit jersey for the first time versus your seniors putting it on for the last time?
Uh, that's like a bittersweet moment. Like it's really great to see like our rookies have like their first game experience in the locker room and on the field and taking, their pregame pictures and things like that. And then when, you flip the script and you're like, you have that like last first game moment for your seniors, it does tug on your heart a little bit. So, and we're blessed. We've had a really great senior class each and every year that I've been here. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2 athletes, and sometimes it's like 8 to 10 athletes. And so each year is different, but, you know, kind of those heartfelt moments exist each and every time that happens.
For you as a head coach, what is it like seeing those athletes putting on that uniform for Ottawa, Arizona, but then also getting to put on that professional uniform for their organization?
Uh, I'm so proud of those ladies who, have the potential to try out for a pro team. Trying out for a pro team is very, very difficult. There are just so many additional things that go into auditioning for a pro team. So anytime we have any of our athletes and alumni make it through to finals and then make it through to actually making the team, we're excited to celebrate them and spotlight them and have them come back and share their journey with our athletes. And we've been pretty successful, as a small little NAI university. We're little, but we're big, if that makes sense. And so, we've had athletes that have made the Phoenix Mercury hip hop squad. We've had athletes that made the Arizona Cardinals. And so, we're just excited to keep, supporting our athletes that have that dream once they choose to pursue that dream after they graduate.
What are some of your future plans for the cheerleading program moving forward?
Um, as the director, I'm really excited to set up our coaches to be as strong as possible, and really lean on delegating to them so that, once I choose to retire, our future will be very bright. And that like a lot of those things that we've worked to build in our foundation will withstand the test of time. So there is kind of a formula for rebuilding a team and rebranding and keeping things going. And so I just look forward to creating that strength within our coaching staff and, being able to pass the torch one day.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college cheerleading?
Uh, My biggest tip for any freshman athlete on a cheer or dance team in college is to A, take care of your body, and B, be as organized as possible with your time management, so that you don't feel like it's chaotic and that you're winging it from day to day.
What advice would you give those college cheerleaders looking to compete on the professional level?
Um, Make sure you are the total package. And so it's not just based off of your skills and what you bring to the table. You want to make sure that your resume speaks for itself. You want to look good on paper just as much as you look good in person. And so you want to have good references from your bosses and your coaches. You want to have a good job. Uh, History, strong employment, a job that's going to support like a schedule of being like a pro cheerleader, and just making sure that like you have like a strong network of people that will like speak on your behalf in this scenario.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to get started in coaching on the college level of college cheerleading?
Um, Talk to all of your coaches, no matter what kind of relationship you've had with them, and take every nugget of information that worked for them and make it your own.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program at?
Um, our Ottawa University, Arizona, social media is OUAZ Cheer Dance, and that's on Instagram and TikTok. And then my personal social media is Kari_Momsy. I got the nickname Momsy years ago, and it just kind of stuck, but it has my personal stuff on there as well as my coaching stuff.
Thank you again, Coach, for your interview and best luck in your future at Ottawa Arizona Spirit as the head cheerleading coach.
Thank you so much, Brandon. It was a pleasure talking with you today.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.